three-time Pac-12 Coach of the Year.
And there's got to be something to that. You understand not just what a team might want to do, but how the program's run. That gives you a little bit of an edge, maybe not an edge to win the game.
Our Paycom starting five for Pepperdine as Arizona wins the opening tip. And you and I both talked to Lorenzo Romar and Sean Miller yesterday, and this is not something they enjoy, having to go up against one another. They're very close. And it was great for them to spend a year together, and he was in a perfect spot with Lorenzo Romar coming in to help out Sean Miller. And this is not something that either coach is going to enjoy tonight.
No, well, they're not going to enjoy losing. The team that wins is going to have a little bit more fun. I mean, but nobody likes to play against good friends. You really don't. Zeke Nnaji didn't waste any time, did he?
Leads the country in field goal percentage.
It wasn't like that was a layup either. I mean, he stepped out, shot that thing with confidence. But here's what I love. Watch the Arizona bench. I talked about these young guys playing well together, playing with great energy. A lot of that comes from who you are as a team in the locker room. If you don't have good energy in the locker room, you're not going to play with that kind of swagger. This team has it. Special unit right now, special group.
Three freshmen in the starting lineup. In fact, first time in Arizona history that three true freshmen starting an opening game. Zeke Nnaji with a miss, a long rebound, running it up is Johnny Smith for Pepperdine.
Oh, Pepperdine's clearly showing that they're going to let him shoot that shot. They just don't want Zeke Nnaji anywhere near that basket. That's where he has the best or the most impact on the game.
Here's Colbey Ross, the dynamic point guard for Pepperdine. Kessler Edwards rattles in a three, and Pepperdine has the lead.
You know, that was good defense, but better offense. Good movement, good turn the corner, find an open shooter. Strong closeout by Zeke Nnaji, just a second late.
The Edwards brothers, Kessler and Cameron Edwards, along with Colbey Ross, account for 66% of Pepperdine scoring this season. Here is Colbey Ross, who dropped 38 on USC a couple of weeks ago. Johnny Smith from way out there. And the rebound, Colbey Ross tracks it down.
And you might be able to get away with that at times. You're relying so much on three guys in the West Coast Conference. But against this Arizona team, you're going to have to win with a little bit more balance.
Cameron Edwards with the bucket. So the Edwards brothers have all five. And Pepperdine up early on number 14, Arizona. Here is the McDonald's All-American Nico Mannion. Dylan Smith from long range ties the game.
And you can see the defense is sagging. The defense isn't just sagging because they're going to allow Arizona to shoot threes. They're going to force Arizona to beat them from the perimeter. They're not going to give, if you're Pepperdine, you're not giving up easy layups at the rim.
Dylan Smith has made it 3 in 6 of Arizona's first 7 games. Now is a three knocked in by Skylar Chavez, who led the state of California last year at the junior college level in scoring. He averaged nearly 28 points per game at Santa Rosa Junior College. Playing for a former Wildcat, Craig McMillan, the head coach at Santa Rosa Junior College, who was Steve Kerr's backcourt mate in Lute Olson's heyday there. You were just everything that got it going at Arizona.
You were just impressing the audience with your information. Clearly, you know how to read game notes. Look,
I did my homework, Mr. Crispin.
I think we sleep on the value of having JUCO guys, right? When you talk about the junior college, they say, yeah, well, it's not this level. It's great experience. There are winning habits in there. You don't just go pour in 26, 28 points a game, not understanding how to play the game. So there's great skill in that.
Timeout for Arizona. 8-5, Pepperdine, the early lead on the unbeaten Wildcats. 3-point lead for Pepperdine. A look at Nico Mannion and Josh Green, the McDonald's All-Americans, the 25th and 26th McDonald's All-Americans in Arizona history.
And look, that's all great. That sounds good, but you still have to play at this level. These are guys that have an understanding of the game, and that's what makes them so good.
Here's Nico Mannion. And the rebound pulled down by Johnny Smith for Pepperdine. Attack it in transition, and the floater and an offensive foul as Mannion draws the charge from Cameron Edwards.
And I like what Sean Miller did there out of the timeout. Got Nico Mannion a good look. You want to get him a little rhythm in this game because he's the kind of guy like a TJ Hawes, right? TJ Hawes controls the rhythm of the game. That's similar to Nico Mannion. He can do that, but you got to get him involved offensively at times.
Josh Green, leaner in the key.
Just a lot of talent. And talent's one thing, but feel is another. And I think that's what makes this team good. They seem to have a good feel. And when you have multiple guys on the floor that make good reads, have good instincts, you develop chemistry much earlier in the season. That's why I think that the start to this season, 6 games at home, was important for this young team.
And winning those games again by an average of over 30 points a contest. Travel whistled against Cameron Edwards at Pepperdine as the Waves looking for their first win over a Pac-12 team since November of 2012 when they won at Washington State in overtime.
Now you forget about the success that Pepperdine's had in the past. You talk about the early 90s. We were talking about that with Lorenzo Romar. This was a program that was on the map, and Lorenzo Romo's trying to put him back on it.
He had success there, but you go back to the 80s, and the success that Pepperdine had is an impressive move on the post by Chase Jeter.
Well, that's where Pepperdine's going to be beaten. If you don't play defense early, which means you win the position battle, you're going to get beaten down low.
Pepperdine has already lost to 2 Pac-12 teams this season, losing at USC and at Cal, as Johnny Smith with the floater, giving Pepperdine the lead again.
Chase Jeter took a knee.
And Keith Kimball working with Mike Cyphers and Tim Comer, a referee crew, stopping play. And Chase Jeter.
All-pro team, right?
There was a lot of angst and consternation with him trying to do that because 11 first-round draft picks that he's had.
But who else was it? Who was the #1 guy that everybody said they wanted to play with?
John Brockman.
What? I mean, I get it. When you remember watching that guy play, he made everybody else better. You can't have 5 stars.
Played for him at Washington. But, look, he's had the #1 overall pick in Markelle Fultz. Nico Mannion, the pull-up. Even Brandon Roy, who was unbelievable.
Brandon Roy, if it wasn't for injuries, that guy's a Hall of Famer. He was unbelievable.
Spencer Hawes, Isaiah Thomas, Nate Robinson, Justin Holiday, all these players. Skylar Chavez missing the deep 2, and it's cleared by Ira Lee checking in for Chase Jeter. Off balance and missing everything was Jamal Baker, the transfer from Kentucky.
Jamal Baker's been good for this program, too. The 11-to-1 assisted turnover ratio, but shooting 50+% from the 3. Again, added balance to an already talented and dangerous roster.
Colbey Ross, the floater, and the first points for the junior, averaging almost 21 a game. Pepperdine up 1. Ira Lee triple teamed and he's fouled.
I have to say that the Pepperdine defense right now is what's impressed me the most. And they haven't looked this good all year, but you got to think they're bringing a little extra something. They've got a game plan that they trust in. They're not going to give up anything easy in the paint. You saw 4 or 5 defenders converge on the basketball once it got into the paint.
First on Skylar Chavez. Ira Lee missing the free throw. 73% to start the season for the junior from LA, who is the all-hustle energizer off the bench for Sean Miller.
Got to have him.
He's a guy that will do the dirty work, whatever the coach asks him to do, and he's that hustle guy, that energy player who missed both free throws, and the rebound tipped out to Colbey Ross. Max Hazard in the game for Arizona, grad transfer from UC Irvine. Also in is Stone Gettings, a transfer from Cornell. Look behind the line and a 3 missing from Kessler Edwards, and Ira Lee the rebound. Daryl Polk Jr., a sophomore from Long Beach, in for Pepperdine. Stone Gettings, the Malibu product, against the team from Malibu, draws the foul.
That was physical. That was really physical. You say
sound surprised because
you say the Malibu product, you think he's like stand-up paddleboarding or something all day. Look, he put his shoulder down. He cleared space. Got himself an opportunity at the rim. And the physicality, when you think about the different conferences, right? I think the Big Ten's known to be an ultra-physical conference similar to the Big East. The Pac-12 has never been known to be a physical conference. Yet the teams go back to Stanford in the late 90s, early 2000s, when they were ultra-physical. They dominated the conference. You have talent, depth, and physicality. You're dangerous here.
Stone Gettings hits both. You mean your UCLA teams weren't physical?
Honestly, there are times, there are a lot of UCLA people that forgot I ever played there, and I understand why.
Colbey Ross, the bucket for Pepperdine, as the Waves seesaw in front.
But yes, we were not physical. Had a good tan, though.
You're in Westwood. Come on. Stone Gettings is bumped and a foul called against Cedric Altman of Pepperdine, the freshman's first.
It's good ball movement so far, too. And I think that's what you have to be pleased with if you're Arizona. But what you're not pleased with is the Red Sea party down the lane and just an easy layup. That's a tough thing when you have a lot of youth. It's not just youth. I look at new players. We talked about the top 6 scorers weren't on the roster last year. Communication suffers. So you still have to build upon that, and it hasn't really been tough sledding so far. 6 games at home, and you've blown everybody out.
Arizona turnover and a run out. Colbey Ross is hammered by Ira Lee. Colbey Ross will go to the line. So Ross, the junior from Aurora, Colorado, a 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Colorado. He was second in Pepperdine history in assists. And he had a streak earlier this season that dated back to last year of 32 consecutive makes from the line.
And last game we were talking about how no one can shoot free throws anymore.
Well, both of these teams can.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things. It is so mental. It is about confidence. It's about rhythm. Sometimes for these guys, they need to find a routine that gives you rhythm, keeps you loose.
Tough off-balance shot from Max Hazard, and a foul going for the rebound. And it's on Stone Gettings of Arizona.
Arizona's starting to pressure a little bit, starting to push. And you still have to be patient. You've got so many bodies coming in and out of the game. All you have to do is have patient energy. That's it. You've got the athleticism. You have all the pieces to win this game big. But at times, it has to be patient persistence.
Chase Jeter, Zeke Naji back in the game for the Wildcats. Here's the pull-up at the foul line. Spins out for Cedric Altman. But losing the rebound out of bounds was Arizona, and it's a Pepperdine ball.
Pepperdine's been active. I mean, they're playing like they're a team with a chip on their shoulder, and that's exactly what you have to be.
Last year, Lorenzo Romar's first year, they had a 10-win improvement from the season before. They won 16 games last year, though they did finish 8th in the WCC, but they won 3 games in Vegas at the WCC tournament before losing to Gonzaga in the semis.
It's a process. I think we forget about that far too often.
Josh Green to steal. Draws contact, counted, and one for the Aussie, Josh Green.
And when I talk about the process, that's kind of year to year for a lot of these teams. It's year to year for Arizona. When you think about the newcomers, you have to start that process over again. It helps to have guys that can go out and get buckets. They can just go out and make plays. He got Nico Magnin. You have Josh Green. Zeke's on another level. I mean, we were talking to Sean yesterday, and he just talked about how young he was. He says the kid, he was 17 years old when he was coming in here. It's just, but he was a bit of a late bloomer. He's got great energy. He's starting to fill out, but you don't score. You don't do the things. You don't shoot 80% from the field without having a good feel for the game. And to be that young and to understand the game that well, it's impressive.
Stays with Pepperdine. Tied at 16. Pepperdine's hit 6 of their first 10. They've hit a couple of threes. Here's Johnny Smith out near midcourt. Colbey Ross hits a 3. 9 already for Ross.
Well, in the scramble, Chase Jeter got stuck on Ross. Look out.
Arizona, Josh Green back the other way.
Arizona basket by Josh Green.
Trying to squeeze a thought in 5 seconds. It's done.
Pepperdine celebrate. They got a 3, and all of a sudden it ends up at the other end. As Cameron Edwards with the hoop.
And we got a good flow to this game. This is one you might just sit back and enjoy.
Is this like the pumpkin pie after the turkey on Thanksgiving?
It's all about the whipped cream.
Chase Jeter
And that's where they're beat. That's where Pepperdine has to play defense early. You got to win position. You win position, you got a chance.
Fun one on Thanksgiving night in Anaheim. Quarters of the Wooden Legacy is a loose ball picked up by Chase Jeter. Here comes Arizona. Max Hazard throws it away and then reaches in and a foul on the grad transfer from UC Irvine. 1 point lead for Pepperdine. Just over 11 minutes to go first half. Coming up, our former colleague.
Yeah,
Arizona.
But it's just such a, it's like the NBA and college are two different worlds. Yeah. It's two completely different basketball games with, you know, the pace of play, the physicality, the athleticism in the NBA, the coaching, the number of sets run in the NBA. It's so different, but I love watching the energy that the college guys play with, the enthusiasm, how hard they compete, how important it is for them, you know, to win for their school and their teammates. It's super fun to watch. This is actually, this and the NCAA tournament, that's two of my favorite weeks for college basketball. Feast week and then the NCAA tournament is obviously two of the best times.
Well, this is a tournament you got to work a number of years, us together down here in Anaheim. So you're very used to the Wooded Legacy.
Yeah, did this one a couple years, really fun. When I was coming in with my son and my in-laws and I was walking in, and I live really close to this arena, but I hadn't been down here in about 5 or 6 years, and so much has changed just in the area of Disneyland.
Miles, we talk about the success of the young freshmen. Give me a sense of the challenges in terms of getting these guys together to kind of build the chemistry that you need to win at a high level.
Yeah, it's difficult because it's such a learning process as a freshman. Sean Miller's a very detail-oriented coach. You know, puts in quite a few sets, but then the defensive concepts that you have to adjust to, like I'm watching them ice ball screens on the side. That's new for a lot of high school guys coming in.
Defense is new for a lot of high school guys.
Defense is new because
playing hard every play.
These guys are stars at their high school, and don't get me wrong, some high schools demand it from their guys night in and night out, but depending on the school or where they learn from in their high school, they're not used to playing help side defense, having to take charges, having physical blockouts all the time, having to run back on defense as soon as they see the flight of the ball to get back in transition and not give up layups or open threes to the other team.
So to leak out for dunks in the AAU, you don't see that. Yeah,
no, you don't see that quite as much.
I don't know if Sean will handle that too well.
What's it like to be with LeBron and Anthony Davis on a daily basis?
How did I know that was coming?
Come on. America wants to know.
You know, it's truly amazing. LeBron, this is my second year being a coach on the staff with LeBron being there, obviously, and he's just a basketball savant. Yeah. The guy is unbelievable the way he sees the game. He knows each and every team's plays. Before we can even walk through them, he pretty much knows what's coming for that player, or even like, you know, ATOs that a team might run, or their system that they're going to implement each game. The defensive coverages that we should do. Special guy to be around. He's a great teammate. He's a really, really good leader. And the things that he's doing this year are just freakish. Like, I can't believe the numbers that he's putting up, playing point guard, how well he's defending in year 17 at such a high level. I mean, he's on the MVP pace. And then now you add in Anthony Davis for us, who is a top 5 player in the league. And he was just a dominant force all over the court. Defensive end, he's got to be first or second best player in the NBA on the defensive side. And then you throw Anthony Davis the ball in the post, or you put him in pick and rolls, or he can ISO you at the top and break you down off the dribble. He's a problem for everybody every night, and it's good that we have both of those guys on our team, trust me.
Makes you a much better coach, doesn't it?
Miles, everybody wants to be that guy. Everybody wants to be LeBron, but what does he do that we don't see that makes him that great?
He's there to practice early. He takes care of his body. And I think that's the biggest thing for him. And I've asked him about that, like the meticulous care that he takes care of his body with 15 to 20 minutes of just stretching before practice, doing it again after practice, the lifting, the consistency in his lifting, in maintaining his strength during the season, the importance of rest for him, the importance of his diet and nutrition, and then the maintenance of his game. Yeah. You know, like he was filming Space Jam pretty much all summer. Yep. And he was sometimes having to work out because of the filming hours, like 3 in the morning or 6 in the morning or maybe 11 at night. But he didn't take the days off when he was supposed to be training. and that's what makes him arguably the best player to ever play this game.
Skylar Chavez hits a three, and Pepperdine goes back on top. Second three for Chavez. All right, 1997. Is it hard for you to believe it's been that long since you won that national championship? We saw you securing the ball there at the end.
Man, it is, because it was just kind of so surreal that we were able to win the championship. And the special group that we had with myself and Mike Bibby and Jason Terry, and obviously led by the legendary Coach Lute Olson, who, you know, made all of that possible by getting us to school there and being the great coach that he is. The time has passed, and, you know, as I'm walking in the arena, so many, you know, quite a few Arizona fans are here, and they're kind of thanking me for a national championship. And it's like, you know, it's a special memory in the hearts of everybody in the city of Tucson, and we have the best fans in college basketball. And they never forget, and that's what makes it really such a special place.
All of these guys on the floor, even the walk-ons, think they're going pro, right? That's just the reality of it. Look, I did the same thing, and I had to learn eventually. I found humility, but they all want to go pro. What are you looking for that's beneath the surface? We see talent, you see length, you see athleticism, you see an ability to do something, but what's beneath the surface that you're looking for at the next level?
A guy who can play his role, right? So there's very few stars in the league. Like, there's probably 7 to 10 franchise players, okay? And then there's probably, you know, there's obviously 20 to 24 all-stars every year. But then the rest of the league, over 400-some players play a specific role nearly each and every night. So if you're a point guard, you know, if you, oh, gosh.
Sorry,
I like him. I like him. I think he's going to have a role in the NBA.
Yeah, right.
I think he's going to have a role.
I think he's all right.
That's why you're a coach.
People that make up these numbers next to him. Oh, they're young at Cole Anthony. They must be one of the best teams in the country. Let's not forget about what North Carolina lost.
That's true.
Come on, man. I mean, jeez.
Josh Green missing at the line. Rebound, Johnny Smith. Our thanks again for Miles Simon joining us here courtside.
Back to the game, though. This Pepperdine team has been able to execute. And when I say execute, it's not just execute an offense. It's execute a game plan. And when you execute a game plan, you grow in confidence throughout the course of the game. And you also feel good if you're that man.
They're 11 of 16 from the floor. And a steal off the inbound. Nico Mannion attacks. Falls off. Josh Green can't control the rebound. And Pepperdine comes away with it. Shot sent back by Zeke Naji. And the follow and the roll for Cameron Edwards.
I'm telling you, confident teams create their own luck. You don't make your own luck if you're not confident. You got to be confident to make your own luck. And Pepperdine is gotten a few broken plays that have gone their way. They're controlling this game. Look at that.
How about the spin and Zeke Naji with a second bucket.
Not just the spin with the body. It was the little English he put on the ball to give it a chance.
That's a guy that's 6'11", 240.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
Deep three from Jan Zidek, the son of former UCLA Bruin and national champion George Zidek. He was a freshman. Lorenzo Romar was an assistant at UCLA at the time George Zidek played for Jim Herrick in that '95 championship for UCLA.
I wish I had that on my resume. Like my resume right now.
You played at UCLA.
Don't put me up against anybody. Like, don't put me next to anybody who had a really successful career, because my resume is like, yeah, he played at Penn State, played at UCLA, but that national champion on your resume is huge. That's what everybody every season aspires to, and only one team can do it. That's special, man. More special for those of us who don't have one.
Skylar Chavez blocked by Zeke Naji. Jamal Baker missing a three. Zeke Naji on the offensive glass. Naji powers his way back up. And still down, grimacing, is Cameron Edwards, who was clutching that right ankle.
Zeke Naji did the one thing you're not supposed to do, right? He put it on the floor.
Bring the ball down.
He did. He brought the ball down, but he got so low. Like, the problem is big guys stand up and put the ball on the floor. Watch how low Zeke Naji gets. He gets down with it. That's a power dribble. Everybody says take a power dribble, and they dribble it just really softly, and they get stolen. See the ankle? Yeah, a little right ankle. Edwards seems to be walking it off. You and I would be carted off the floor. Great cut.
And a foul will send Kessler Edwards to the line.
And you see, defensively, if you're Arizona, you've given up some easy baskets, right? Pepperdine's playing with a ton of confidence, and you start to waver when it comes to your principles. You start to follow the basketball. You lose sight of your man, you get back cut. This is one of those tests for a young team, and Sean Miller will have a lot to talk about at halftime.
Second on Nico Mannion. And Kessler Edwards, who's the younger brother of Cameron, hits the first. And Sean Miller pulling Mannion with the 2 fouls, and Max Hazard coming back.
There are times where you let a young guy go with 2 fouls because you need to learn. As a coach, you need to learn how he plays with 2 fouls. You know, because there are some guys that they play so passive not to get that second foul that they're actually a liability on the floor. So there will be times, maybe not in this game until they get control.
Josh Green the miss. Zeke Naji on the weak side, and a foul against Pepperdine with Arizona in the bonus. Naji going to the line. Lorenzo Romar not happy with the call.
All right, I get it. You know, Zeke had position, but if you don't jump, you can take the ball from somebody. You got to elevate. You can't just hold your ground and expect to get that call. Just elevate up. The
first on Jan Zidek.
The contact will force the official to call.
So Zeke Naji not only an 80% shooter from the floor,
yes,
an 81% foul shooter as well, and already a 2-time Pac-12 Freshman of the Week. And there's a lot of really good freshmen in the Pac-12
I think you can get used to that release coming out.
He now has 8.
But it's the energy more so than anything else. He's got a good feel for the game. He understands. He's got good instincts. But ultimately, he plays so hard. And everybody plays hard. I'm using air quotes. Everybody plays hard. But then there's that guy with the motor that you go, yeah, he's on another level. That's Zeke Naji.
Cedric Altman travel. And it goes back to the Wildcats.
I still think if you're Lorenzo Romar, you feel good about where you're at. And it's not just because you're down 1. It's because you've been able to get what you want. You've gotten good looks. You've gotten second chance opportunities. You've been active on the offensive glass. I think they got to be careful defensively. Defensively, you can't give up second chance points.
And they've had 9 turnovers, Pepperdine, so far. Chase Jeter trying the reverse. Here comes Pepperdine and Colbey Ross. Pull-up 3 in transition. Oh, wow. Colbey Ross, he has 14. How about that pull-up 3 in transition?
He was sniffing it from half court. You could see him lining up his steps. And when you line up your steps, you get your own rhythm.
Max Hazard, tough shot off balance. That's a deep 2. Again, it's confusing. We have 4 3-point lines out there. It's the 3rd ring.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's not confusing at all, except for the end of last game.
I told you, you didn't listen to me.
It would not be the first time.
It's all right. Nobody listens to me in my own house either.
I like watching. He's lining it up. He gets his feet set. That's not an easy shot. Stevie Nash used to do that, right? I don't know if people call him Stevie Nash anymore. Steve Nash, time MVP Steve Nash, used to do that full speed in transition stop on a dive pull up from 3. It's not an easy shot.
Cedric Altman missing from the corner. And it's over the top of the backboard, out of bounds to Arizona. We are knotted at 35. Quarterfinals of the Wooden Legacy in Southern California. By an average of over 30 points per game. And they're tied late in the first half with Pepperdine.
Well, first you got to give Pepperdine and Lorenzo Romar credit. Clearly Lorenzo Romar has scouted this team. He knows Sean Miller very well. But the issue is this is a team, first time they've had to play a game away from home. It's a home where they dominate. Really 53-1 or something like that in the last 54 games at home.
Jamal Baker, open 3. First points for the sophomore.
I should say last non-conference, 54 non-conference games. But, and I like that when you're scheduling. I mean, people say you got to play somebody, you got to challenge it. You also have to build a team. And this is a team that's going to be better in March than they are right now.
Cameron Edwards missing a three. Here comes Jamal Baker for U of A. And once these guys get familiar with one another, figure each other out, Chase Jeter inside.
You know what? That's good defense, though. I'm watching Pepperdine's position defensively. You may just have to live with that if you're Lorenzo Romo. You look at you almost gotten beat by letting the ball in the post. Tough one.
Largest lead for the Wildcats. Arizona foul. And it's on Chase Jeter, his second.
I've been around teams, I've covered teams that say, we're going to play the post as if the catch is a point. So when you're preparing for a team, if they catch the ball in the block, that's 2 points for them. It's a great way to prepare, and it teaches you how to play defense early. And when I say defense early, I say this a lot. It means win the position battle. If you win the position battle, force the catch further from the basket, you still have a chance against really a team that you're just not going to be able to compete with down low.
One more for Colbey Ross. He has 17 now, or rather 16 here in the first half. And it's a three-point game in favor of Arizona.
Nico Mannion on the bench with those 2 fouls. That's an issue because he hasn't really been able to get it going yet today.
Travel on Dylan Smith.
That is, I mean, you love to do this, the Paycom Wooden legacy. Be quick, but don't hurry. And that's a great one. Look, when you're playing, when you're a freshman and you hear that, you're like, yeah, right? And I'm sure everybody that played for John Wooden probably said that at some point or another. But as you get older, you go, gosh, that makes so much sense. And it's universal. A lot of those things are universal. It's not just college basketball. It's life. Good defense.
With the left hand, Cameron Edwards. 1 point game again. Stone Gettings lines it up. Way off on the three. Pepperdine has a chance to take the lead. Johnny Smith steps into a three. Wow. And Pepperdine's on top.
And how many times have I said one of the challenges with a young group or a new group is communication defensively, and that's been a problem for Arizona. It's identifying shooters. It's getting back in transition and all 5 finding the man, because at times 2 guys have gone with 1.
Pepperdine 6 of 12 from 3. They've scored 7 straight to take the lead. Max Hazard drops it off for Zeke Naji. And a tie up underneath. Pepperdine ball with 1:23 left in the half.
There's just no space. You go to the basket, it's got to be a baseline drive, baseline drift. You got to get the ball out of there. There's no room in the paint. And again, communication defensively. You've got to identify all shooters. That's just too easy.
Pepperdine shooting 60% overall from the floor. Kessler Edwards missing a three. Zeke Naji the rebound. 6 rebounds for Naji.
Yeah, Pepperdine's done a good job in defensive transition. That's going to be an offensive foul on Zeke Naji.
And it's his first.
That's probably the biggest threat. You know, this Arizona team, they have so many weapons. They all get out and run. If you don't get back and stop in transition, it's going to be a long night. Pepperdine's done a great job of that, forcing this into a half-court game. Except when Josh Green's just gone the length of the floor and thrown it down in 3 seconds. He had 2 of them.
Johnny Smith slow to get to his feet for Pepperdine.
Well, Zeke Naji landed on him. I go back to it. The common folk, they're just, you don't get up from it.
That's 6'11", 240 falling.
Yeah, and when I say common folk, I'm talking about you and I. Like, we forget, like, the different levels, you know, to play high school basketball, to come up to the college level, huge jump, especially the major Division I level. The next jump is even bigger because you just can't have flaws.
Skylar Chavez had a look at a three, and the loose ball still fighting for it. Josh Green spikes it off Cameron Edwards, and it's an Arizona ball.
Winning plays. You need your guys to make those winning plays, especially when things are down. That's a winning play. Those are the things that give you confidence, too. when the game is sloppy, right now it's a little sloppy for Arizona. Offensive timing, some of the timing on their sets, some of the timing on their screens has been a little off. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Nico Mannion hasn't really gotten it going in this game. But you still have to make winning plays.
3 turnovers the last 4 possessions. Josh Green spinning inside. How about making a play?
Yeah.
He leads Arizona with 11. We're tied, and Pepperdine can play for the last shot of the half.
This has been fun, man. Great flow to this game.
Back and
Great
forth.
flow.
Colbey Ross. The high arcing teardrop. Jamal Baker the rebound. Baker. Too late. And we are tied at halftime. Pepperdine hanging in there with number 14, Arizona.
Yeah, Pepperdine did a lot of things really well, particularly knocking down shots. They found the open man, found confidence in that.
It was tight, back and forth. Pepperdine shooting the ball extremely well, hitting 6 threes in the first half, 54% overall from the floor. They had 9 turnovers in the first half that really hurt them. For Arizona, Wildcats led by Green's 11. Wildcats shot 52% themselves. And rebounds surprisingly even, considering Arizona is one of the better rebounding teams in America.
Good double. Good double led to a travel. The Edwards, pair of Edwards and Edwards came in together. And that's the thing. Like, that is out of a halftime. This is what we're going to do. If he gets the ball down, though, hard double. They executed it, got the turnover.
All 42 Pepperdine points coming from their starters. And a whistle and off the ball, and it's against Pepperdine. And it's on Kessler Edwards, his 3rd foul, just 22 seconds into the second half.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You need to be careful with foul trouble, because if you're Pepperdine, you got to stay aggressive. You've got to continue to be the aggressor, and that's what made them so successful in the first half. And you talk about those turnovers that kind of hurt them. A lot of those turnovers were aggressive turnovers. So in a way, if I'm Lorenzo Romo, I can live with some of those turnovers so long as they're aggressive turnovers.
Looking for Zeke Naji, posting up out of the double team.
Good scramble defensively.
Dylan Smith missing a corner 3. Jody Smith the rebound for the Waves.
That was a great defensive possession for Pepperdine.
The floater. Ooh. And the tip in, the follow from Kessler Edwards. Nico Mannion knocks it down in a 3.
That's a more important basket than you have any idea. You've got to get Nico Mannion into this game. He's got to be able to impact this basketball game. When the ball's in his hands, defense has to pay attention to him, particularly with his ability to knock down those perimeter jump shots in transition.
He picked up 2 fouls with about go in the first. Edwards missing a 3, cleared by Dylan Smith. And then Sean Miller sitting Mannion for the rest of the first half. Mannion. That one too strong, and the rebound tip free to Skylar Chavez for the Waves. Jody Smith spinning. How about that move from Jody Smith?
Just good balance, good poise. But what I liked is their transition flowed right into secondary. Their secondary created an opportunity. 3 guys on the opposite side of the floor. They didn't race to the basketball. There's good patience.
Drop off. Mannion feeding a cutting Chase Jeter.
Mannion had a layup, but instead he got his teammate an even easier one.
And a foul on Dylan Smith of Arizona, his first.
When this game gets rolling, it's been really good. And this is just a one-on-one ISO, because the 3 guys on the opposite side of the floor were patient enough to stay away. And then Nico probably could have gone up for a layup, but instead finds Chase Jeter for a chippy.
And this is a young Pepperdine team that only has 1 scholarship senior in Cameron Edwards. Plus, they're down 2 key players, as Keith Smith, the Oregon transfer, is out with a knee injury. And also out is Andre Ball. He's out for the season for Pepperdine, and a travel against Skylar Chavez.
I actually think what makes them dangerous is the same 5, 6, maybe 7 guys are going to play the bulk of the minutes. That makes you tougher, because you just kind of maintain rhythm throughout the game, where Sean Miller can go 8, 9, 10 deep.
Zignaji.
Wow.
That's a deep corner 2. And again with the confusing 4 3-point lines.
And that's a confidence builder. He shoots 80% from the field, but that's good ball movement. Everybody got involved.
And a whistle as Arizona trying to break out. And a foul called against Pepperdine. And it's on Colbey Ross, his second.
All right, so earlier in the game, I think it was our open. I talked
for John Wooden. And as Bill Walton likes to tell me, John,
yes,
only 2 times when I played at UCLA, as paraphrasing Bill here, did he ever mention the opposing team. Both those times we lost.
Yes. We got a book in our swag called Quotable Wooden, because he was one of the most quotable coaches of all time. And I love this one. It says, the athlete who says that something cannot be done should never interrupt the one who is doing. I absolutely love John Wooden quotes.
Well, Chase Jeter was just interrupted because he was fouled, and he'll go to the line. Fouls on Cameron Edwards, his second.
By the way, if you kick out of Bill Walton, watch a game Bill Walton did on Synergy and only watch the clips, because you catch comments out of context, and it is probably the most remarkable thing.
Why would I want to watch that when it's in my nightmares?
It is think of Synergy clips, just the offensive makes, where you just pop into the middle of a Bill Walton conversation. Absolutely priceless.
I try to run from that.
Wow.
Speaking of trying to run from something, Pepperdine watching Zignaji go over the top.
This can't happen. That means that you walk to the rim. You didn't walk back into the guy you need to be boxing out.
Arizona's matched their largest lead, but now Johnny Smith with an answer for the Waves.
I was interested to see if this Pepperdine team could keep it up physically, because you are really relying upon a few guys to play significant minutes and fight bigger bodies.
Extra pass to Nico Mannion. Rattles out the 3. And the rebound batted around, and Pepperdine has it, and Johnny Smith.
Good fight for Pepperdine. I mean, they are so outmatched in terms of rebounding, yet they're fighting hard. Guards have to contribute.
Up and under. The leaner. And it goes for Kessler Edwards. 1-point game. Nico Mannion darts back the other way.
Wow.
And a timeout for Sean Miller.
We've got to get another look at that, because he put a spin on that ball. He knew exactly what his angle was.
Blockbusters on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Does it change every year? It's the Big Ten ACC, then the ACC Big Ten? It should be whoever won it gets their name listed first.
If you get the edge that particular year, then the next year.
The next year you own it, right?
The cycle's over.
Good execution. They got a good look on that tight curl and feed the post.
Cameron Edwards the miss. Arizona up 3. Pepperdine has hung in there all night. Dylan Smith on the baseline.
He's got that mid-range game, and it's still there. It's a bit of a lost art, but it's there. Everybody likes to shoot layups or threes, but that mid-range game's going to be there, especially if you have that elevation advantage.
Arizona's matched their largest lead. Here comes Josh Green for the Cats.
Look out.
And a reach in and a foul. And it's on Johnny Smith, his second. And Arizona will head to the line.
Josh Green's one of those guys where you just kind of see that head of steam come your way. All you can do is swipe at the ball. You're not taking a charge on that guy. He does not skip leg day.
Like I do.
Yes. Walking doesn't count.
But I walked a lot this week already.
You did, you in Disneyland. I know. This was absolutely clean. It was. Sometimes, look, it's really hard. We love to criticize officials, but that's almost like an anticipated call, right? You know, you just assume it's going to be a foul. You barely see it. Some of the hardest calls are the ones that are obvious, right?
Largest lead of the night for Arizona. And again, keep in mind, they're 6-0, winning by an average of 30 points a game. As burying a 3 was Kessler Edwards.
How many times has Pepperdine had an answer? It tells you a lot about the comfort and the confidence of this team. And I go back to trusting the game plan. I think they have confidence in doing what they're told to do.
Strip from Chase Jeter. Good hands for the Waves.
Backside guard was there just a second late, but it allowed defense to corral that basketball.
In a reach-in as Colbey Ross was going up, it's on Josh Green, his first.
A lot of confidence on this floor. That's the NBA three-point line. We're talking about the 4 3-point lines. Well, that was the furthest. Just a second late, but being there allows your other defenders. Edwards comes over and strips the basketball. A lot of things. They're doubling the post, and that backside guard has to drop fast.
This is a highly skilled team in Pepperdine, as the Waves, 40% three-point shooting team. They're the #1 free throw shooting team in America at 86%.
That's ridiculous. That's a team number. That's ridiculous. Talked about Penn, 64% from the free throw line.
This is a team that, coming into tonight, 85.6%, #1 in America. They've shot 80% or better from the line in every game this season. And they remain perfect tonight.
It's been honestly, Pepperdine has really impressed me. Interesting to see how deep into the bench Lorenzo Romar can go if need be. Foul trouble hasn't really been too much of a problem.
And every time you think Arizona may create some separation, Pepperdine comes right back. Okay, Josh Green hits the three, makes it a 4-point game. 15 for Green, which leads Arizona. Tough shot with Najee affecting, but Pepperdine keeps it alive. Johnny Smith to the bucket. Season high 11 for the junior from Oakland.
It was energy that answered. That's what it was. It was that second chance energy keeping things alive. Put the Arizona defense in a scramble mode. You're able to get to the basket.
Skip to Josh Green.
Wow. 3! Wow. And he's good.
5-point lead. Colbey Ross. Corner three. Rims off from Cameron Edwards. Arizona clears. Again, Josh Green. A three. Hits another one. Arizona's up 8.
You know, you have to credit Nico Mannion, too. We don't do this enough. There are guys on the floor that recognize the hot hand. Usually they're experienced, right? Usually they're second, third, fourth-year players. Nico Mannion's done a great job there in transition. Fine. That's just great backside play, throw over the top. You got the size to throw over the top. You got to do it. Like I said, Nico Mannion felt it. That's a guy that has feel for the game. He can control tempo. He can control pace. He can get the right guy the ball.
And then after the bucket, there was a foul for a push on Cameron Edwards. Nico Mannion missing the three. Ira Lee keeping it alive. So the foul against Pepperdine gives Arizona the possession after the made three.
And this is where Arizona has to just start to pull away. And they can do it by starting to push tempo, but they need to get stops. That's the problem. They haven't gotten stops.
And this is an Arizona team that plays a lot quicker, more tempo to Sean Miller's group this year.
When you got a guy like Nico handling the ball, you can trust him to play with more tempo and pace.
Out of bounds, and Arizona gives it back to Pepperdine.
And Sean Miller's just saying, hey, make the easy pass. Don't need to go over the top. A simple dump down. That gets the job done. Especially if you're able to get through 2 defenders. That means somebody is left not covering a man. It's going to lead to a scramble. And with the double in the post, if you just get a single coverage in the post, your post players have been able to have their way in single coverage.
Colbey Ross creates space, and the fadeaway rattles out. It was all the way down and popped out. And then a foul going for the rebound. It's on Pepperdine. Arizona threatening to blow this one open now.
Yeah, Josh Green's gotten it rolling. He really has gotten it going. You got a
career high of 21. He scored the Wildcats last 10. He's made 3 threes here in the second half.
And he got a flopping.
He just did get a warning. So the first warning handed out to Arizona for a flop.
You didn't bring it up because you didn't want me to rant about it. I get it.
The next one becomes a Class B technical one shot. Skylar Chavez breaks it up, and a steal for Pepperdine. Pepperdine down 8. They've kept it close all night. They've led numerous occasions. And now in a danger zone here. And a foul on the perimeter against Arizona. It's on Stone Gettings for a block, his second.
I really got to give Pepperdine credit with their movement offensively. You know, teams don't set as many screens anymore, but it's more of that, like, have your action get in their way. That's a good screen, and they've got that going on right now.
Colbey Ross fumbled it away. Stone Gettings spins in the key. Gettings, his first field goal tonight.
It's a big-time move, though.
And it's a 10-point game.
You know, on the ball screen, two guys go with Nico Mannion. He pops. He gets a bit of a lame closeout and is able to attack.
Corner three. Short, but the rebound falls to Kessler Edwards. Jamal Baker knocks it away. Baker to the bucket and finishes. Arizona taking control, a 10-0 run.
Jamal Baker, that's fundamental. It really is. It's fundamental. It's C-man, C-ball.
Yeah.
Corey Williams trying to give our good friend Sean Farnham great UCLA great status last night.
He did. He did.
Tried.
And speaking of, well, it was great. The tribute, the video tribute they had.
That was fantastic.
Sean
Farnham, I'm sure you're watching because you're a junkie like we are. Fantastic job narrating that. I'm sure you did the illustrations too.
And a foul as Ira Lee will send Cameron Edwards to the line. That's the second on Ira Lee. And Cameron Edwards, who's an 81% foul shooter. See, he struggles for Pepperdine, 81%.
Yeah.
Because he's below the team average.
How dare he? All right, so Ira Lee, you'd say he plays hard, right?
No question.
Plays hard. Josh Green plays hard.
Yep.
Zeke Naji plays hard. And I'm not just talking like, yeah, he sweats. Like, these guys get after it. They're physical. And I can tell you that with the skill set that they have as they get better and better as a team, the physicality is what'll be what separates them in the Pac-12.
Josh Green goes crashing and an offensive foul. Second on Green. But the difference for Arizona this year, and look, last year was such a tough year, right, for Arizona, dealing with everything they had to deal with. And just the talent level wasn't what we expect from an Arizona team. And Sean Miller had an inner struggle about how to coach the team last year.
And the recruits you bring in, that was an issue. You lost some guys. That was an issue. This is a new group. This is a really unique group, too.
But the point I'm getting at is he's got the depth now. Last year, look, if a guy didn't play hard, Sean was stuck. He had to play him. Because
accountability is an issue.
He didn't have the depth and the talent on the roster to be able to overcome that. This year, you're not playing hard. You're sitting because Arizona goes 10-11 deep.
I mean, look, coaching's one. They're going to get Baker on the foul. Coaching's one thing. Think about parenting. If you can't hold your child accountable, how do you parent? Well, it's the same thing as a coach, right? You know, playing time is the ultimate trump card. It's the ultimate trump card. You're the head coach. You control playing time. Playing time for these guys is absolutely everything in their lives. Trust me, I've been there, and I wasn't even that good. You know, you've got some potential one-and-done type guys. Playing time is the trump card, so they have to play up to a certain level. And look, Sean Miller teams aren't soft. They're not. And this is a group, I really do feel like this is a special group. But you still have to have a level of patience with this group. They're still young.
All five starters for Pepperdine now in double figures as Skylar Chavez goes 3 for 3 from the line. And Pepperdine remains perfect at the stripe. They are 13 for 13. And they've closed to within 7 after getting down 12. And they go inside to Zeke Naji and a whistle and a walk.
See, to me, I'm looking at that. Freedom of movement, that's an automatic whistle. You get an arm bar into a driver, that's an automatic foul call. Zeke Naji, in some way, almost had to push off to create space, and the contact with the defender is what led to the travel. Sometimes I think we forget to call that for bigs. Guards get them all the time, but bigs don't. That's good scramble. Good defensive scramble.
Skylar Chavez, three!
The backside of that defense, they did everything right. But instead of sticking with the scramble, they allowed that extra pass to Chavez, and he was able to knock down the three. That's where a young defense, you can see it, Pepperdine on a nice little 8-0 run right now. Young defense has to stick with the play until...
There with Arizona.
Confidence. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, confidence, and then there's that scary fearlessness, right? Like, think of the NCAA tournament. You're a 16 seed playing a 1. I'm sorry, that 16 team's dangerous, and they're getting more dangerous year in, year out now that they saw UMBC beat the 1 seed. But it's dangerous because you got guys who have nothing to lose. Pepperdine just needs to come out and ball. Arizona's expected to win this game.
Josh Green lines it up. And the rebound, Colbey Ross. Here comes Pepperdine. And a foul. It's on Max Hazard of Arizona. His second.
I talk to my brother about these things a lot. He's a Division III head coach, and he feels good about his team. He says, we're better than these guys. Because the problem is, the fact that I have to convince them that they're better is a problem. This is an Arizona team that should come out, know that they're better, and prove it every single possession. The proving it part is the toughest thing for a young team because it doesn't come as easy as it did the previous year. They were, Miles said it. We had Miles Simon on earlier. He said it. He goes, these guys don't understand. Everyone was a star where they came from. I was a star in high school, right? Like, you get to this level and you realize I need to fit a spot. I need to fill a hole. I need to play a role. And it's hard to buy into doing the little things, but a lot of little things done right make you a champion.
First miss from the line for Pepperdine. They're now 14 for 15. And the first miss this season for Johnny Smith, who's now 7 for 8. 3-point game, so Pepperdine has chipped it down to a 1-possession game. Nico Mannion getting Skylar Chavez in the air. And the foul called on Chavez, his second. Lorenzo Romar doesn't agree.
Yeah, I thought there was a foul coming off that ball screen. Chavez was a little late, a lot of contact. This one, yeah, he jumped into him. Yeah, that's a foul. Again, I'm a great official if I see it in slow-mo twice.
2 shots for Mannion as he was inside the third three-point line. That's the one we're playing. You didn't believe me. I'm still going back to
that's
that.
What
yes,
we're going
there
like.
we go.
The fresh tape on the floor. That's what it is. We have to remind people though.
From game 1
end of the
tonight.
UCF Penn game, down 3, don't foul, corner 3. So we thought foot was on the line. Old 3-point line. It would have been 3.
But the confusion with the 4 3-point lines may be factored in.
Yeah.
Johnny Smith, a 3.
Wow.
Pepperdine's feeling it. They're not going away.
Not at all. And I gotta say, the physicality of the game, they've answered the physicality as well.
And Pepperdine has not gotten a single point from their bench tonight.
Good
nice move inside from Chase Jeter, who has a season-high 10.
Just good sit-down, good patience. You've got the length and athleticism to elevate her over top anybody on this Pepperdine defense. You just have to have the patience and poise to do so. Why not?
Long 3. Too strong from Colbey Ross, but an offensive board for the Waves. The Edwards brothers playing catch inside. Cameron Edwards, a 3.
There's
1-point game.
There's a reason why Arizona defenders are going for every single pump fake, because it seems like every shot that goes up is going in.
10 threes for Pepperdine. It was an Arizona 12-point lead. It's down to 1. Inside to Zeke Naji. And he is clobbered, will head to the line. 7:05 to go, and John, it's a 1-point game.
I think at some point, a lot of Arizona fans in here are waiting for shots to stop.
15-4 run for Pepperdine from down 12 to within 1. Our game is featured 18 lead changes, 8 ties. Zeke Najee to miss. Now 2 of 3 at the line. 12 points for Najee tonight.
You know, I talk a lot about body language. The body language hasn't been bad for Arizona, but it's been better for Pepperdine. And there's something about that, you know, it becomes infectious, right? When you start to see your teammates knock down shots and the bench rises up off their feet, it helps the energy.
Johnny Smith had a good look.
Also helps the execution. That was a great screen read and curl.
Pepperdine takes it right back. Cameron Edwards ties the game. Pepperdine just will not go away. Dylan Smith attacks and will get to the line as the senior, the transfer from North Carolina, Asheville, will get to the stripe.
And this is where Arizona's just got to be better. Nico, man, you got to have more of a sense of where guys are at. You're pushing the ball. You've got numbers. You do have to look ahead, but you also have to be aware of who's behind. And sometimes that is up to your teammates. Teammates got to yell. Oh, I'm saying this like Nico doesn't know. He knows.
4th foul on Kessler Edwards with 6:29 to play. So he'll head to the bench.
Well, and you look at that stat. All 5 starters, double figures, but no one else. So let's see if they can get production. And production doesn't have to be points. Production just has to be contribution in any possible way.
Here's Colbey Ross. The quickness to get up the floor. Skylar Chavez for the lead. It rattles in, and Pepperdine, their first lead since they were ahead 46-45. 17 for Skylar Chavez. Josh Green answers for Arizona.
This should have been. Look, you and I can just shut up for the rest of the game, and I think everybody would enjoy it. This has been a great game. Good flow, back and forth, answer, and another answer.
This is so fun tonight, this game.
I'm thankful for this game.
Yes, I am. And a block against Arizona will put Pepperdine at the line as the Waves are in the bonus. Second on Zeke Najee.
I mean, it's Colbey Ross just getting downhill. Everybody talks about what getting downhill is, right? Getting downhill is just driving the basketball, pretty much. And they get an open look. And this is Zeke Najee. Good job just finding an open shooter. And it happens to be Josh Green, who's been feeling it here in the second half.
24 for Green. He's 4 of 5 from 3. Previous young career best was 20 in an Arizona blowout over Illinois.
There's been such a concern at giving up layups in the post if you're Pepperdine's defense. So the presence of mind of a young Zeke Najee to find open shooters when you're being converged upon, that you have to look at those things and say that's a good play.
You brought up something earlier, and is there something to that Arizona's going on the road for the first time and playing outside of McHale Center?
Outside of McHale Center, but just outside of the routine. I mean, this is the first time they've had to get out of the routine, and you know, there's a lot of different things, right? Your whole prep is different. The whole feel of the game, the atmosphere here is different. We have a big crowd from Arizona here, but it's not the McHale Center. I can tell you that. I played there. It didn't fare well.
Not many teams do.
Yeah.
Tied at 79, approaching 5:20 to go. Nico Mannion off balance, and Pepperdine with the rebound.
Yeah.
Cameron Edwards challenged, and a strong finish over Chase Jeter. Timeout, Arizona, 4:58 to play. And Pepperdine is up 2 on number 14, Arizona.
Roxy, who's been the aggressor?
Pepperdine. Every time you think Arizona's got this one, they're going to pull away, Pepperdine comes right back and just will not go away.
Yeah, I thought the Josh Green run earlier in the second half would have done it, right? You thought that was enough, but again, this is the exact test that a young Arizona team needs. You learn a lot about your team. Sean Miller will tell you, though, he's going to be frustrated because he wants to win every game by 30. He's a competitor. But at the same time, at the end of the season, you're going to learn a lot about your team in this game.
Zeke Najee in a reach-in. And the foul is on Victor Ohia Obioha of Pepperdine.
Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Well done.
His second. Double bonus now for Arizona, 10th team foul. And the sophomore from Nigeria will send Zeke Naji to the line.
So when you look at the starting five that's played the bulk of the minutes, there's they start to sense the game too, right? When I talk about feel, it's not just read and react. It's also feeling what the other team's doing. And I feel like the Pepperdine defense has been good because they've gotten a sense of how Arizona wants to play.
Lorenzo Romar brings Kessler Edwards and his 4 fouls back here with 4:44 to play.
I think you got to do it.
Arizona has struggled at the line tonight.
Look, it's like North Carolina playing Clemson. You go for it, right? You go for it to win the game. I think that's Lorenzo Romar's coaching to win this game, not to play it close or give them a good fight. They're coaching to win this game, and right now the team's playing to win this game.
The layup missed by Jody Smith, and Zeke Naji the rebound. Pepperdine a really good look. And off the ball, Zeke Naji and a foul as he bowls over Jody Smith.
All right, so here's why I really don't like it's probably a foul, but here's what I don't like. It's a switch. It's not actually a screen. This is a switch, all right? Jody Smith's going to switch. I don't know what you can do if you're Zeke Naji on that play. It's a switch. He's now being covered by Jody Smith. Jody Smith ran into him as much as he ran into Jody Smith. So I get the whole screen. You can't roll into a guy. I don't know about that one.
Colbey Ross swatted by Dylan Smith. Josh Green hustling, saves it. Loose, still batted around, and Pepperdine lost it to Nico Mannion. Dylan Smith.
Got rebounders.
3!
Remember that play. Just remember that play. 2-point lead for Arizona, and how'd they get it?
And the senior steps up with a huge shot for Arizona. And there appears to be an injury for Zeke Naji. That's why they stop play. And it takes us to it. '83-81. This has been a wildly entertaining Thanksgiving basketball game.
Yeah, first, happy Thanksgiving, folks. I really do hope you had a great day. We're having a good day. This has been fantastic basketball. Pepperdine playing out of their mind right now, and I'm enjoying it.
Pepperdine has made 11 threes. Kessler Edwards makes it 12 threes for the Waves, and Pepperdine claws back on top.
I mean, just defending ball screens, especially with a young group, is one of the hardest things you can do. I mean, look, Miles Simon, who we had on, was a hard thing to do at the NBA level. And that's really what separates themselves from the college game. The communication has to be there. It just hasn't been there. Just a step late is a given up 3.
Pull up from Jamal Baker. And hustling, Josh Green chases it down. Dylan Smith from NBA range hits another big 3.
I mean, seriously, is this just not awesome? And anybody watching this game, if you're not having a good time, you don't like basketball, and you probably don't like puppies. I mean, this is great. The back and forth has been fantastic. Look, good execution. Here comes the ball screen, right?
Tim Comer coming to let us know that it is a common foul. So Cameron Edwards is 4 for 4 from the line. 2 shots.
I'll tell you, man.
The resiliency of this Pepperdine team.
That's what's so amazing, because at some point there's that part of you, and it might be your subconscious that steps in and says, well, we can win this game. And that's where you're beat. You've got to walk up and say, we're going to win this game. We're going to knock down shots. They did it right there. 2 straight foul shots.
21 for Cameron Edwards, tied. 2:45 to go.
Now it's going to come down to execution. Can this young Arizona team execute? And that means, or just take a tough shot and get it.
Dylan Smith, his 3rd enormous 3 here in the second half.
That is a bold decision.
You think he's failing?
That is a bold decision. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but that doesn't go in. Oh, man.
And a travel on Kessler Edwards.
Wow, I mean, like I said, you talk about just confidence. I mean, Dylan Smith has knocked down multiple big-time three-point shots. And, you know, some have been open. That one was just, I'm able to get a step and get it off. It's a good shot.
That's his senior stepping up. He's made 4 threes tonight. Zeke Naji, offensive foul.
See, that's where Zeke Naji, as he gets older, right? The initial contact wasn't called, right? Initial contact's not called, but you have to know if you're Zeke Naji. The second, that's not called. Second one, you know he's taking a dive. And that's one of those plays, like I've said before. That was probably a charge and a flop at the same time.
4 fouls on Naji.
He'll get that right the next time. He won't get baited into it like he did that time.
Another great battle between the Pac-12 and the West Coast Conference today.
This is great.
Colbey Ross for the lead. Or rather for the tie, I should say. 3-point game. Skylar Chavez ties the game. 20 for Chavez.
Somewhere midway through the second half, I went from analyst to fan. You know, I'm just a basketball fan right now. This is good hoops. High pressure hoops, too, and both teams have responded.
Earlier today, Gonzaga outlasted Oregon in overtime in battle for Atlantis.
Got to pass out of that.
Nico Mannion, the floater, and an offensive foul, a charge on Mannion, his third. And Pepperdine, in a tie game with 1:07 remaining, gets the basketball.
I've said so much about making winning plays. Well, both teams have been able to do it. I don't like it. That is not a charge. Not a charge. Still working his way over. The time Nico Mannion left his feet, defender was still in the restricted arc.
Season worst 17 Wildcat turnovers tonight.
If I had my way, I would do away with the block charge in general. More offensive minded, clearly.
Colbey Ross, the pull up and the rebound. Arizona all over the defensive glass, and it's Naji. 11th rebound. Naji and Mannion have double-doubles tonight.
I've been saying it comes down to execution, but really it's been shot making today.
No timeouts for Arizona. Pepperdine has 1 remaining.
This is a great learning experience for this young Arizona team with high expectations.
Good ball movement by the Wildcats, and Zeke Naji gives Arizona the lead.
Nico Mannion did a great job moving the defense with his eyes. It's not just a basketball. Sometimes we use ball fakes, pass fakes, pump fakes, but you move. And look, you don't run a set to score anymore. That's almost gone. There's no X's and O's like we're going to do this, you're going to screen it, we're going to get a left. Doesn't work that way. You put your team in a situation to test the defense in a way that opens up opportunities.
10 seconds. Here is Ross. Off balance. First field goal in the second half, and we're tied. Arizona going for the win. Nico Mannion flipped it up and in with 2 seconds to go. Colbey Ross from midcourt. And Arizona escapes with a win. And Nico Mannion to the rescue for the Wildcats. What an amazing game here tonight on Thanksgiving.
I'm heartbroken for this Pepperdine squad who